کفن جسم شهیدان است شام غریبان است امشب نوای کودکان امشب نوای کودکان بر بام کیوان است شام غریبان است امشب به دشت کربلا نالان یتیمانند تا صبح و گریانند امشب به روی کشته ها در ناله مرغانند چون نی در افغانند بر غربت اجسادشان بر غربت اجسادشان عالم پریشان است شام غریبان است امشب به صحرا بی کفن امشب به صحرا بی کفن جسم شهیدان است شام غریبان است امشب به صحرا بی کفن امشب به صحرا بی کفن جسم شهیدان است شام غریبان است
صلوات علی محمد و آل محمد اللهم صل علی محمد و آل محمد. If I can have everybody's attention, please. My sister, can I have your attention, please? It's getting 9 o'clock. It's getting late. We have to get started. If I can have everyone's attention, please recite another salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the tawfiq and the chance to be at Masjid al-Rasul on this Friday night. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your Jama'ah prayers and your azadaris this month, inshallah. At the beginning of the program, on behalf of our board and myself, please accept our condolences upon our second Imam, Imam Hassan Mushtaba alayhi salam Shahada. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us the true followers of our Imam and Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Inshallah, with the recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We will start off our program tonight with recitation of Quran verses 1 through 8 of Surah Mubarakeh and Fall, inshallah, which will be recited by Brother Abbas Mehriyar. The Farsi translation will be recited by Haji Yasin Amili, inshallah, and the English translation will be recited by Sister Sahil Khan. On the second sessions from the brother side, I have a small poem and poetry by Haji Malim Hamkar, inshallah. And our guest speaker tonight is respected Sheikh Sayyid Abbas Razavian, inshallah. We thank him and appreciate him for coming to our masjid again, for taking the time and to share his knowledge with all of us. For the well-being of Sheikh Abbas Razavian and his family, please recite a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And now I welcome Brother Abbas Mehriyar to recite verses 1 through 8 of Surah Mubarakeh and Fall with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يسألونك عن الأنفال قل الأنفال لله والرسول فاتقوا الله وأصلحوا ذات بينكم وأطيعوا الله ورسوله إن كنتم مؤمنين. إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. الذين يقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. أولئك هم المؤمنون حقا لهم درجات عند ربهم ومغفرة ورزق كريم. كما أخرجك ربك من بيتك بالحق وإن فريقا من المؤمنين لكارهون. يجادلونك في الحق بعدما تبين كأنما يساقون إلى الموت وهم ينظرون. وإذ يعدكم الله إحدى الطائفتين أنها لكم وتودون أن غير ذات الشوكة تكون لكم ويريد الله أن يحق الحق بكلماته ويقطع دابر الكافرين. ليحق الحق ويبطل الباطل ولو كره المجرمون. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اعوذ بالله من شر الشیطان اللعین الرجیم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. از تو درباره غنایم جنگی میپرسند. بگو غنایم جنگی از آن خدا و رسول است. پس از خدا بترسید و بین خود روابط صلح جویانه برقرار کنید و خدا و رسولش را فرمان برید اگر ایمان دارید. زیرا که مؤمنان کسانی هستند که چون نام خدا برده شود دلهایشان به لرزه در می آید. انگامی که آیات خدا بر آنها خوانده می شود بر ایمانشان می افزاید و به پروردگارشان توکل می کنند. همان کسانی که نماز را به پا می دارند و از آنچه روزیشان داده ایم انفاق می کنند. اینان به حق مؤمنانند که نزد پروردگارشان درجات و آمرزش و روزی کریمانه دارند. همچنان که پروردگار تو را به حق از خانه‌ات بیرون آورد، اگرچه گروهی از مؤمنان کراهت داشتند با تو درباره حق بعد از این که بر آنها نمودار شده بود مجادله می کردند، چنان که گویی آنها به سوی مرگ کشانیده می شوند در حالی که آن را می نگرند. و به یاد آور آنگاه که خدا به شما وعده داد یکی از آن دو گروه به دست شما خواهند افتاد و شما دوست داشتید که گروه غیر مسلح کم قدرت نصیب شما شود، اما خدا می خواست بر حسب کلام خیش حق را استقرار بخشد و ریشه کافران را قطع کند تا حق استقرار یابد و باطل بی اثر گردد، هرچند که گناهکاران را ناپسند آیند. صدق الله العلی العظیم. صلوات.
In the name of Allah, the All-Beneficent, the All-Merciful. They ask you concerning the Anfal. Say, the Anfal belong to Allah and the Apostle. So be wary of Allah and settle your differences, and obey Allah and His Apostle if you are faithful. The faithful are only those whose hearts tremble with awe when Allah is mentioned, and when His signs are recited to them, they increase their faith. And who put their trust in their Lord, maintain the prayer, and spend out of what we have provided them. It is they who are truly faithful. They shall have ranks near their Lord, forgiveness and a noble provision. As your Lord brought you from your home with a judicious purpose, a part of the faithful were indeed reluctant. They disputed with you concerning the truth after it had become clear, as if they were being driven towards death while they looked on. When Allah promised you victory over one of the two companies, saying, "It is for you," you were eager, that it should be the one that was unarmed. But Allah desires to confirm the truth with His words and to root out the faithless, so that He may confirm the truth and bring falsehood to naught, though the guilty should be averse. Sadaqallahu al-Aliyyul Azim.
With many, many thanks and appreciation to Brother Abbas Mehriyar, Haji Yasin Amili, and Sister Sahil Khan for recitation of Quran and Farsi and English translations. We reached to the second session of our tonight's program. And as I mentioned, tonight we're commemorating our second Imam Shahada. To commemorate that, we have some poetry by Haj Malim Hamkar. I respectfully ask Haj Malim Hamkar to come forward and recite you those poems. از محترم حاج معلم همکار خواهش میکنم که تشریف بیارن و مطلبی که تهیه کردن به سمع شما برسانن. سر سلامتی خودتان و آقای معلم همکار صلوات محمد پسند ختم بفرمایید.
ایاد تو در عالم آتش زده بر جانها، هر جا از فراق تو چاک است گریبانها. انسان که تو جان دادی در راه رضای حق، آدم به تو می نازد ای اشرف انسانها. پیچیده شمیمت همه جای تن بی سر، پیچیده شمیمت همه جای تن بی سر، چون شیشه عطری که سرش گم شده باشد. بر محمد و اهل بیت محمد صلوات. با گل رود فرستم صلوات، تا بیایی با سرم وقت مامات. یا حسین جان و دلم باد فدات، ای درت قبنای هر باب الجات. قبلتي وجهك في كل صلاة، تاب دامان تو دستم آویخت، رشته غیرتم از غیر گسیخت. انبیاش که غم از اجر تو ریخت، خضر ز اخلاص تو تاش نریخت. کی رسیدی بلب آب حیات، دشمنت ظالم مروت نشود، داخل بزم مصیبت نشود. هیچ کس داخل جنت نشود، روح مستوجب رحمت نشود، تا نباشد با کفش از تو بارات. حاجیان رو بسوی کعبه دوید، ما سر کوی تو داریم امید. تاكي التيغ ستام قشت شهيد سنگ باران تو راج ندید ورنمی برد با وقت حجرات آدم و نوح و خلیل و یحیی یونس و شیس و شعیب و موسی مکه و مروه و وادی و منا حجر و زمزم و میقات و صفا همه گشتن ز هجران تو مات کی لب تش نکند جان قربان تن شریان و سر زیب سنان دوستان کاش شدندت قربان تاکه پای تو نباشد بمیان وای صد وای به حال عرصات ای نام تو در عالم آتش زده بر جان ها هر جاز فراقی تو چاکس گریبان ها یا رب بزرگی تو ای قادر ظلمان یا رب شهیدان جدا گشت سرستان کین مجلس ما را به حیات و دم مردن در کرب و بلا زود بده مدفن و مدفن بارا گو پیمبر که علی جان من است هم به جان علی و اسم محمد صلوات
خب با تشکر و سپاس فراوان از محترم حاجی معلم همکار همه واقعا لذت بردیم سرسلامتی خودشان و فامیل محترمشان صلوات محمد پسند ختم بفرمایید عزیزان اللهم صل علی محمد و آل محمد. And now from brother's side I have brother Muhammad Al-Ammara who has an announcement. So brother Muhammad, if you can please come forward with your announcement, we would appreciate it with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. So this year again Taha Islamic Academy will be held in person at Masjid Rasul. For you who don't know about Taha Islamic Academy, it's our Saturday school teaching children from ages 5 and above about Quran, about Islamic ahkam, Islamic studies in general. So the school sessions are on Saturdays from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. The school starts at September 14, which is about a month from now. The deadline to register your children is Friday, September 13, and you can scan the QR code on the blue poster on the left, or you could speak to me later about it. In addition to that, Taha Islamic Academy is looking for qualified volunteers, so people who can teach or who can help out in the school year. If you or someone you know is interested in applying, please scan that QR code or speak to Sister Zahra Al-Amara, Sister Suhaila Kazim, or Sheikh Ahmed Mudarris, inshallah. The deadline to apply for being a volunteer at Taha Islamic Academy is September 1st. And if you'd like more information, you could scan the QR code as well. Thank you so much. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Ali Muhammad. Thank you, Brother Muhammad, for the announcement. So again, the school is going to start on September 14, as he said, and the deadline to register is one day before, September the 13th. So I'll make sure to add this to my regular announcement. Until then, inshallah. With that being said, our second session is completed at this point. We'll go over the regular announcements. Please see Brother Zia Amiri and Brother Saeed Razak and make sure that your monthly donations are paid. For any reason, if you're behind, please make sure to bring those up to date. It has been a while that I haven't reminded you guys of the food that masjid is serving. The price of every time that you eat at masjid is cost roughly about $700. If you can sponsor the whole thing, that would be great. And if you can, if you're doing financially well and you can take multiple nights, that's even more better and great, right? But if not, if you have any amounts toward that 700 will be acceptable, 200, 300, 400, whatever you have. Just make sure that when you're paying that amount, please let Brother Saeed and Brother Zia know that this money is supposed to be spent on food, so they can record those transactions accordingly to be spent in the kitchen and for the food, inshallah. With that being said, the topic of tonight's discussion that Sheikh Abbas Razavian will be discussing is 2 types of sustenance or 2 types of rizq, inshallah. 2 types of rizq is the title of tonight's speech. And now I respectfully welcome Sheikh Abbas Razavian to the mimbar for the speech, inshallah, with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم إلى قيام يوم الدين. When we look at today's society, especially living in the West, in America, a culture that we're trained and taught to consume as many goods as possible, increasing the sales of the large companies. When you see some of the statistics that the average American home has something like 300,000 items, or that if you look at the amount of toys, books and toys, that even though Americans make like 1 or 3% of the world population, something like 47, almost 50% of the toys and books are here. So we are trained to consume. And it's sometimes not in our control. You've seen many times, you go to a supermarket to get something very simple, to get some yogurt or something, and you end up with an entire cart, and you say, what happened? This is $300, $400, $500, I didn't want this. So that is one aspect about consuming. The other part is about a competition, that we look and we judge each other based on what we have. If somebody has a nice car, even sometimes in masjids or Islamic schools, they tend to show off some, not all, some. Or we tend to maybe have more respect and we say, wow, this person is successful. Or sometimes when we go to different people's homes and they have very large homes and we give importance and we give, for example, rank to those that have more. This is a rizq of God. It's good. It's not something bad. Is it bad to have a large home? No. Actually, in the traditions, it's one of the blessings of God. Is it bad to have a good car? No. Is it good to have a car that always breaks down? No. You want to go to work, you want a reliable car, you want a safe car. But the problem here lies in a competition that we think that we are in this world just for these things, that we're here to compete with others. And if somebody in my family member buys a new car, then I have to change my car as well now. They say there's some person that would keep going to Masjid al-Jamkaran. Many people from Tehran and different areas, they go to Masjid al-Jamkaran. It's in the holy city of Qom. And they said 40 nights, and they're asking, what is your hajat? They said that one of my family members, one of my in-laws bought a new car. I am coming for Jamkaran for 40 nights, so I can get a new car, so I'm not left behind. So there's a race, a musabaqa today, and you could acknowledge this. And there's no dead end. Some people I was watching, they're saying that one of the problems with Los Angeles is that you cannot compete here. He said because the wealth is so much, when you want to be the top, there'll always be someone higher than you, higher than you, higher than you. The way they spend, these are non-Muslims. The way they spend, you cannot compete. He said, get your money from Los Angeles and leave. You cannot compete. There's too much wealth. So this is one type of rizq that obviously it needs hard work. It is a blessing of Allah, and we never have a dua or prayer that I've seen that says, God, make me poor. We don't have prayers. Our prayers are increase my rizq, especially after Salatul Isha. You have, for example, the ta'qibat of rizq, and you're wondering, and inquiring about and praying for your rizq and provision that is for tomorrow. But that is one type of sustenance, and you need to work hard for it. It is actually good to work hard. But the problem again is overemphasis. And that if person, I ask you, what happens if all they wanted in life was a nice car, a paid off home, a yacht even, and different things, and then they leave this world? Do you think that they're successful? Do you think that they are worth? How much are they worth? One of our scholars was invited to Europe to talk about the worth of man. Alami Ja'fari. And every different philosophers and teachers would give their idea, what is the worth of man? He said that the worth of man is however or whatever he approaches or seeks. Whatever he seeks, that is his worth. So if a person seeks his entire life, for 30 years he works day and night to pay off his home, and the most important thing he wants in his life is just a paid off home, his worth is as much as a home. But he says if a person's aspiration and his desire is to reach God, then his worth is priceless. His worth cannot be calculated because he is equal to the worth of God. And they gave a standing ovation in Europe for him, this great scholar. And he says this is nothing but the tradition and narration of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Because the worth of a person is upon the worth of what he seeks, his himmah. Whatever his himmah and whatever he is trying to seek, whatever he is desiring, his hum is, that is his qadr, that is his value, that is his worth. So brothers and sisters, now that we said one type of rizq, which is the financial, and yes, we need it, we need to be able to feed our families, we need to have a good job, we need financial security, but this should be a muqaddamah. This should be a prerequisite to gain another type of rizq. And what is the other type of rizq? What is the other type of sustenance? What is the real worth that we have? And we said that knowledge of God. Many people, they think they are poor. They think God does not love them, but actually God has given them everything because He has given Himself to them. He has given His knowledge. He has given congregation prayers. Did you ever think of the fact that when you pray in congregation and thank God, say, today I came to the masjid, I came to the center and I prayed in congregation. The tradition has, if it's more than 10 people, it cannot be calculated, the reward. Do you ever think, guys, alhamdulillah, today I had so much barakat and blessings because I had congregation salah. Or I did salam to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. My rizq today was what? I did ziyarat Ashura of Imam Hussein. And if Day of Judgment, I wish I would say one more salam to Imam Hussein while I was alive. This is another type of rizq that we have. We have to understand that the most important sustenance that we have is the second type. And that is why we are here tonight. And one of the great capital that we have is love of Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein alayhi salam. That the 7th of Safar is one of the nights that we remember Imam Hassan, as well as the 28th of Safar. These are nights, and Monday marked this week the martyrdom of Imam Hassan, the first child of Imam Ali, Lady Fatima alayhi salam. The child that Rasulullah himself repeatedly would say, this is my son, Hati ibni, bring my son for me. The son that Quran says, bring abna'ana wa abna'ikum, bring your sons and our sons. He's in the category of sons, not grandchildren. Imam Hassan alayhi salam, that if I ask you tonight, what is one verse in the Quran about him? Which verse would you think? So many different verses. Verse of Tathir, ayat Tathir, that he is thoroughly purified, that he is infallible, that Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam are thoroughly purified, which is 33. The verse of Mubahila, that Imam Hassan alayhi salam, when the Christians of Najran came to make dua and prayer against the Muslims, everyone was wondering, who is Rasulullah going to choose to make prayers to prove Islam? They're wondering, will they be selected? And according to Shia Sunni tradition, who is brought? Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Lady Fatima's Nisa, it's plural, it says bring your women. Lady Fatima, only one person was brought. And bring yourselves, he came with Imam Ali alayhi salam. Or if you look at other verses about Imam Hassan alayhi salam, that every prophet was commanded not to get a wage. Look throughout the Quran, La as'alukum alayhi ajr. You do not have any wage. All the prophets, when you look at the Quran, 5, 6 times, maybe I counted, it says there's no wage, no money. I'm going to serve you. I'm going to give this mission to you. I'm going to serve you, but no money. But one prophet was commanded, and that is our prophet. And what is it? Muwaddata fil qurba. To have love of the family. That's the wage of Rasulullah. Who is fil qurba? What's one of the greatest instances of it? Imam Hassan alayhi salam, Imam Hussein. You know, in India, previously it was like this before the Wahhabis had big influence, that Sunnis would do azadari for Imam Hussein alayhi salam because of this verse. Because of this verse, Sunnis would do azadari. They said, this is the ajr of Rasulullah's risalah. I have to do azadari. I have to mourn Imam Hussein alayhi salam. You see that it'am, the verse of it'am is about Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein alayhi salam, that they were sick and fasted and they gave their iftar to the poor, to the miskeen, to the yateen. So therefore we see that Imam Hassan alayhi salam were always very happy that if you want a discussion and dialogue with other madahib, you say that, for example, I want your figures in the Quran, and we will bring our figures that we are imams in the Quran. And you see how rich it is, how many verses you have about Imam Ali alayhi salam, how many verses you have about Lady Fatima, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And they're uncomparable. According to this, they are infallible. Imam Hassan alayhi salam is infallible. So therefore, this love is a special type of rizq. Do you think God gives the love of Imam Hassan alayhi salam to anyone? How does this love even form? The fact that you are here tonight, and you get very happy, you hear the words, and you love the fada'il of Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, you have to wonder, what happened to me? What happened? What did I do that Allah gave me this type of rizq? And that's the discussion tonight. That many of us, instead of Quran says, وَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ, race each other when it comes, have competition in khayrat and good. We're having race and materialism. Who has the largest car, who has the largest home, but what about other rizq? What about love of Ahlul Bayt? Who has, for example, competition when it comes to who is going to do the most ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam? Who is going to go for Arba'een? Who does the most ziyarat Ashura? Who has most knowledge of Allah? Who comes first to the masjid, for example? This is what we learned. So therefore, when we look at the life of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, this path that is in front of us is a path that is a great rizq from God. In this love, as the person came, I believe, to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, and he was maybe complaining that he doesn't have anything, he doesn't have much money. But the Imam Sadiq, the Imam asked him, how much do you love us, for example? How much are you willing to trade? For example, how many thousands or millions of gold coins are you willing to trade our love? He says, I will not trade it for, say, 100,000 gold coins or whatever. And the Imam says, well, you have a capital that is worth more than 100,000, more than 1 million gold coins, because you will never trade it. Would you trade anything for the love of Imam Hassan alayhi salam? So you have something inside you, your heart. You have to thank your parents. Make dua for your parents that you have this love for Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. The madhab of Ahlul Bayt and the way of Ahlul Bayt is very rich. In this type of spiritual rizq has many different levels. And we always have to be focused while we're in this world to take as much as we can from the sustenance. Every day, if I calculate and I ask you, for example, today was the day of who? Who should we have remembered today, Friday? Imam of the H. Who here read Dua Nutbah today? It's for dua for the Imam. It's actually a beautiful dua, has fadail of Imam Ali, the Prophets, Imam Ali. Then it talks about the Imam, where are you? Right? Nutbah means crying, weeping. Who did Dua Nutbah today? Who did Ziyarat Ali Yasin today? Fridays are very special days. It's the best of days throughout the week. In our tradition, it is the day of Dhuhr. People would sharpen their swords, get ready for the Imam on Friday. Another rizq is to be of that person that is always remembering Imam Zaman, is in love with Imam Zaman. There are those that throughout the day, or at least a few times in the day, they're remembering the Imam. That's a rizq. Those that don't have it, how are they? They're in ghafla. Because we have to be careful of so many different things. One of the most important things that we have to consider is remembrance of the Imam, preparation for the Imam. What kind of Shia would we be if we're in neglect or Imam is in occultation because of us? Khaja Nasiruddin al-Tusi mentions that ghaibatuhu anna, his ghaibat is because of us. Because we're just sitting here, we're forgetting about him. How would he do dhuhr if we forget about him? So one of the rizq is that person that has a sweet, strong connection to the Imam of the age. And whenever they have a problem, they call Imam al-Zaman. They say, Ya Sahib al-Zaman. This is how many people the ulama were. Some of our scholars, they had this very good connection to the Imam. That whenever they had a problem, they would say, Ya Sahib al-Zaman. They would say, Ya Sahib al-Zaman, it would be resolved. Many of our fighters that fought and defended Islam, they mentioned the name of the Imam of the age and were successful on the battlefield. Some of our fighters, for example, would recite tasbihat of Fatimatu Zahra alayhi salam. This is another type of rizq that we have. We do it after salat, right? And you know the story that, say, the Fatima alayhi salam had a lot of work at home, wanted help. Instead, she got tasbihat. That is what Allah gave her, tasbihat. So this Shaheed Ibrahim Hadi, who was martyred in battle, he says that if Lady Fatima alayhi salam, to remove her difficulty, she was giving tasbih to Zahra. I, in the battlefield, whenever I'm in trouble, I will do tasbih to Fatima to Zahra alayhi salam. And he started doing this, and he taught the other soldiers. And all of them, whenever they had problems, they would sit and do tasbih to Fatima to Zahra, and their problems were resolved. We are very rich when it comes to these things that we have to make dua, prayer, to make our problems go away. One of the du'as that we see that Imam Hussein alayhi salam shows that spiritual type of risk that he has, is dua of Arafah, dua al-Arafah. I'm sure that you've read this dua. In the day of Arafah, we usually read this dua. Imam Hussein alayhi salam read this dua, this supplication, and then when you look at it, he implemented this and showed this in the day of Karbala. I'll say it again. Imam Hussein read this on the day of Arafah to Allah and cried. On the day of Ashura, he truly showed that he was a muwahid, that everything he said and did, he really believed and acted. That is the difference. Sometimes we say, Iyaka na'budu, Iyaka nasta'in. We say it, but we don't implement it. We see that one of the great lines of this, you heard of the story of Prophet Wadhannun. Who's Prophet Wadhannun? Prophet Yunus. And he was stuck in either fish or whale. You know, the story is that actually he came to his people many different times and warned them. As the main message of the prophets was to worship Allah, to stay away from polytheism. Your Rabb is Allah, worship Him, follow His instruction. For many years he tried, he warned the people. Finally, he gave up, Prophet Yunus. He gave up, and he had information that there is going to be punishment. So therefore he goes and tells the people, you're going to be punished now. They said, we're going to be punished. We're going to be punished. He started laughing. Now he's infuriated. He's mad. He said, they're laughing at the punishment of God. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to leave. They don't deserve. Imagine, when we talk about Islam for one person for a few times, we say, no, she's not going to be a believer. For 10, 20 years, however much, Prophet Yunus, for years, as a prophet, spoke to the people, they didn't answer. And then he gets upset. He says, وَذَنُّونَ إِذْ ذَهَبَ مُغَاضِبًا. He was upset with ghadab, he left. And he thought that we wouldn't do anything. The Quran says, we do Salat al-Khawfayla, فَظَنَّ أَن لَن نَقْدِرَ عَلَيْهِ. We thought that there wouldn't be anything, he just left them. He did tark al-ola. He didn't commit a sin. He just left a little bit too early. And this shows you how merciful Allah is on His creation, that His prophet will be put in the whale, in the fish, because he just left a little early. He didn't give him the full chance. He just left a little early. So now he leaves. He's in the boat. Some of the stories say that they have a type of chance, and they draw straws because it's wavy and there's too much weight on the boat. So some people have to go outside of the boat and hold on by a rope or something. So they draw straws, and he has the short straw. He has to go in the water, in the ocean, in the sea, and then that is when the fish gets him. Now he's stuck there. And the Quran jumps and says, "Fanada fi dhulamat." Now he's stuck. It's very terrifying to be in the stomach, to be in complete darkness, not to know where you are. And then he makes this dua. فَنَادَى فِي الظُّلَمَاتِ أَنْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ سُبْحَانَكَ إِنِّي كُنْتُ مِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ. So there he's very clear that there's no Allah but you. Glory be to you. I was of the oppressors. I was one of the sinners, for example. I was one of the transgressors. This is called dhikr Yunusiyya. It's a dhikr that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam in tradition has. I'm surprised if a person has difficulty, that if he recites this, how come it's not removed? It should be removed. Why do you think it's removed? Because the next line says, فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْغَمِّ. So we answered him, we listened, we answered, and we saved him. وَكَذَلِكَ نُنْجِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. We save the believers this way. As if he says, dhikr Yunusiyya will save you. I'm not into irfan or mysticism, but just an interesting note, some teachers of irfan say, this dhikr is so powerful that if you do it too much, you should have a teacher. This dhikr Yunusiyya. If you do it too much, you need a teacher. Anyways. So this is one part of a powerful dhikr. the Prophet Yunus did. This is recite Salat ala Muhammad wa ala. Now I want you to take this type of tawheed. And we said the Imams, Quran itself mentions that after Prophet Ibrahim had kalamat, tests and trials, then he made him Imam. He was a prophet, trials, tribulations. Then after that, he became Ibrahim, that was the Imam. Because Imamat is a position that Rasulullah had, Prophet Ibrahim had, and our Imams had. It is the highest position. Now Imam Hussein alayhi salam, it comes to this dhikr. Imam Hussein added other stages to this. He completed this dhikr of Yunusiyya, if you look. Where? In Dua Arafah. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, because we're saying this is our rizq, to have this type of ma'rifah, to have this type of understanding. La ilaha illa ant, subhanaka inni kuntu min al-dhalimin, Dua Arafah. La ilaha illa ant, subhanaka inni kuntu min al-mustaghfirin. I am of those that seek forgiveness. La ilaha illa ant, subhanaka inni kuntu min al-muwahhidin. I am of the oneness, professing your oneness. This is Imam Hussein alayhi salam adding to this dhikr of Yunusiyya, completing it, adding stages of tawheed that Imam Hussein alayhi salam had, that we believe that Prophet Yunus did not have. He had the complete version of tawheed. Because if Allah is going to bring His final religion, He's going to bring His best prophets, He's going to bring the best of successors. La ilaha illa ant, inni kuntu min al-wajilin. I have been of the apprehensive. La ilaha illa ant, inni kuntu min al-rajin. I am of those that has hope. I want to ask you, in Karbala, did Imam Hussein alayhi salam implement this? All of these he did. Rajin, he had hope. Because in Karbala, all the factors of despair were there. All of the factors. He was there with his family. He was outnumbered. He didn't have food. He didn't have water. He was with an infant. How can you go to battle when you have an infant? All the factors of despair were there. But Imam Hussein alayhi salam, on the day of Ashura, talks about his raja, that I have raja in Allah. I have hope in Allah. I am of the rajin. He says it here, but implements it where? In Karbala. Is this rizq or not? Would you trade this to have this type of tawheed? How much money would you give to have this type of tawheed? It's priceless. So we're trying to focus on that this life, there's special types of rizq that is for the special devotees of God, special loyalists of God. La ilaha illa ant, subhanaka inni kuntu min al-raghibin. I am of those who desires you. Imam Hussein performed all of this. La ilaha illa ant, subhanaka inni kuntu min al-muwahhilin. Sorry, muwahhilin, yes, those that do tahallul or la ilaha illallah. Subhanaka inni kuntu min al-sa'ilin. La ilaha illa ant, subhanaka inni kuntu min al-musajjibin. Musabbihin, I am those that glorify you. Mukabbirin, those that say you, Allah is the greatest. And Rabbi wa Rabbu Abai al-awwali. So therefore we see that Imam Hussein alayhi salam and the Imams that we have, when we love, they have this capital, they have this belief, they have this tawheed, this treasure that we are trying to learn from them. And this is the only way to get that special rizq, this special ma'rifat that we have. Because they are the gates of Allah. Bina ubid Allah, bina, through us Allah is worshipped. Bina urif Allah. So therefore we look at Imam Hussein's majlis, Imam Hassan's majlis, and we see that another very important rizq that we have is a rizq of these type of majalis. There is a time in Iran, and Iran is a 80-90% Shia country, for example. There's a time when majlis of Imam Hussein alayhi salam was banned. Can you believe it? In Iran, the majlis of Imam Hussein alayhi salam was banned, was not allowed. During the time of who? Reza Khan. He gave an order that you cannot have majlis anymore. And some of the scholars say they would have majlis at 12 o'clock at night, at midnight. So the police and authorities wouldn't figure it out. They would have someone at the beginning of the street that would look out and tell people if somebody is coming. At that time, they told Sheikh Ayatollah al-Uzma Abdul Karim Ha'iri, the grand marja of that time of Iran, or of the world. And they told him that Reza Khan is banning the majlis of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And they came to calm him down because he was infuriated. He loved Imam Hussein. He knew how important it is. So they came to calm him down. They said to him that, listen, this is only something mustahab. He's banning, Reza Khan is banning something that is mustahab. He says, no, this is a mustahab action that is holding up 1,000 wajibat. This is a mustahab action, majlis of Imam Hussein, that is holding 1,000 wajibat. Meaning that the Islam that we have today, and how I want you to ask yourselves, how much do you know of deen? Usually it's from your parents. Usually it's from, generation to generation. Where did your parents learn their knowledge from? Many times, majlis of Imam Hussein. Where did you learn to cry? When we look at the Islamic world, you see sins happening. You see that so many different temptations happen and people fall. And then majlis of Imam Hussein, Muharram and Safar come, and it washes away all this sin. Washes away all this sin. It is holding up salat. It is holding up commanding the good. Because Imam Hussein alayhi salam, his Ashura is very rich. Is teaching us justice, teaching us forbidding the evil, commanding the good. So therefore we see that one of the barakat is having these majalis of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, as the traditions have. O son of Shabib, should you weep for Hussein to the extent that tears roll down your cheeks, Allah will forgive your sins. Whether they be great sins or small sins, whether they be meager or immense. Let's recite another salawat ala Muhammad. So rizq and sustenance is of two. The material, which is important, but the main thing that for us is important is that spiritual rizq, to be able to know God, to worship Him. I'm going to end with a narration from Imam Hassan alayhi salam. And Imam Hassan is narrated to have said about this world, that when you have come to this world, Yabna Adam, innaka lam tazal fi hadm umrik منذ سقطت من بطن أمك. That whenever you came to this world, and you came from the stomach of your mother, it didn't stop hadm, or being ruined, or wasting your life. Meaning, this way, that whenever you were born, you had a lifespan. When was the maximum lifespan? When you were born. Day one, it becomes less. Day two becomes less. Every day, we get closer to our death. It usually doesn't increase, right? Our life it decreases. So Imam Hassan alayhi salam is teaching us that there's hadm, where our lifetime is being wasted. Our time is running out. It's like ice that is melting away. And some people, it's interesting, I saw they put a chart of how many days, the average lifespan, and how many days they have, and every day they would click one. One day ran out, one box finished. Today we finished one other box. We wasted another time. So therefore it says, fa khudh mimma fi yadayka lima bayna yadayk. Then take what is in this world for that day of the future, for what you will face in the future. Take as much as you can. There's a scholar that he was training his students. I don't know how exact this is, maybe it's a fable. But they say that he and his students were at a very dark place. And he tells his students to take. Students, take. Whatever is on the ground, take. They couldn't see. Take. And some of them listened to the teacher and took a lot. Teacher is saying take, they took a lot. We don't know what it is. Teacher says take, I took a lot. Some of them took a little bit. Then next day, the lights come on, and they all look at what they have collected. The interesting thing is both groups are sad. Even though what was on the ground were precious stones, diamonds, rubies, gold, whatever, precious items. Everyone was sad. Why do you think everyone would be sad? There's gold, diamonds. Actually, because those that only took a little, they wish they would have taken more. They said, I wish I would have listened to teacher, took 2 handfuls, only took a little bit. Even those that took 2 handfuls, they said, I wish I had more. There's all this gold here. Look at all the, for example, precious stones. Because there's this much I wish I would have taken. Then teacher says, this is the example of the world. This example of this world. You are in a place right now, brothers and sisters, according to this tradition as well, that you're in a place where around you is all these priceless items that you can collect for yourself for the day of judgment. Around you. Every act of kindness, goodness, charity, worship, all of this is gold and treasure. And you can collect as much as you want. So Imam Hassan ﷺ says, collect as much as you can. Basically, فَإِنَّ الْمُؤْمِنْ يَتَزَوَّدْ, because the mu'min, the believer, collects and prepares. He takes provisions when he wants to go somewhere. فَإِنَّ الْكَافِرْ وَالْكَافِرْ يَتَمَتَّى. But the disbeliever, he just enjoys himself. He doesn't pay attention. He doesn't take the provisions. He's just thinking of right now, gratification right now. How I can have fun tonight. It's Friday night. I just want to have fun now. What's going to happen tomorrow? I don't know. I don't care. Just want to have a good time. So therefore we understand that when we talk about this type of rizq, Imam Hassan ﷺ is teaching us فَتَزَوَّدْ, to be careful, يَتَزَوَّدْ, to take as much as you can while you're in this world. Do good action. Be kind to one another. Stay away from sin. Don't destroy your good action. And at the second part, be careful of wasting our time with just the physical and material. And always give value to knowledge, to worship, to obedience of God. That is the real treasure in this world. The others will pass. God can give it to the unbeliever. God can give it to the believer. We share it. Animals have it as well. They're satiated, they're filled, they have protection, they have a place. But the special type of rizq is what Allah gives to a special loyalists and friends. And the only way is through instruction of Ahlul Bayt. We learn and we practice, inshallah. Please recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ali. If we can dim the lights, it's the night that we remember Imam Hassan alayhi salam. How many people do you think are walking towards Karbala right now? Maybe almost 20 million will be coming to Iraq. How many people came for the 7th of Safar? How many people came for the 28th of Safar? Will come for the 28th of Safar to Baqi, to the grave of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Maybe his only visitors are pigeons, the night of his martyrdom. While we have our imams, the shrine, other imams like Imam Qadim, millions of people come for his martyrdom. But Imam Hassan alayhi salam is qareeb and estranged. When he passed away, it was the first funeral of Ahlul Bayt. First funeral of Ahlul Bayt. Rasulullah did not have an official funeral because they were busy fighting for power while Imam Ali alayhi salam was washing his body, burying his body. The second infallible to pass was Lady Fatima, the mother of Imam Hassan. She also did not have a funeral because she said, دفني بالليل غسلني بالليل دفني بالليل ولا تعلم أحد. Wash me at night enshroud me at night, bury me at night, do not tell anyone. So far, no funeral for the family of the Prophet, for the Prophet and his family. When Imam Ali alayhi salam was martyred, and he was Imam, Khalifa of the Muslimin, Imam Hassan alayhi salam dug different ditches and graves to hide the body of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. And again, it was a private burial, not a funeral. Private burial that nobody knew where Imam Ali alayhi salam was buried until the time of Imam Sa'd. But the first official funeral where people came to participate in an actual burial was Imam Hassan's, and we wish that didn't even happen. Because this official funeral of Ahlul Bayt, his body was struck, as some sources say, with arrows, 70 arrows on the body of Imam Hassan. Even his funeral is madlum. There's a tradition that once Imam Hussein looked at his dear brother, and you know these two brothers are very close, less than a year apart, almost as if they're twins. And he was crying, knowing that Imam Hassan would be poisoned and passed away. He says, what bothers you? He says, what will happen to you? The way that you will be killed, basically. But Imam Hassan tells his brother, La yawm ki yawmaka ya Aba Abdullah, but no day will be like your day. Imam Hassan was so madloom that even in his own house, his wife was his enemy. Ja'da or Jo'da. She comes and gives poison, so much poison, and the intenseness, the toxicity of this poison is like when a snake bites a person, that they twist and turn. Imagine Lady Zainab alayhi salam is there, Imam Hussein alayhi salam is there, Hazrat Abbas is there, they're looking at their brother, they're reminding him of Rasulullah, reminding him of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And now Imam Hassan alayhi salam, he vomits blood. Parts of his liver come on this bowl. Maybe they're thinking there's still a chance, because maybe the poison came out. But no, this poison was so severe that Imam Hassan alayhi salam died from it, was martyred from it. But this day we have one bowl with parts with blood in it. Soon, years later, there will be another bowl, a silver bowl, a copper bowl, that will have the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. This bowl will be presented to Ibn Ziyad to see, look what we did. We cut off the head of the grandson of Rasulullah. Then this bowl will go to Yazid, and Yazid will take the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and he will take a bamboo stick, and he will play with the lips of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He will be pouring alcohol, as the hadith says, fuqa. I apologize for saying this. He will be pouring fuqa on the holy head of Imam Hussein, the head that is reciting the Holy Quran. In Sunni sources it even has the holy head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, that is a qari of Quran. And soon this head will be given to Lady Ruqayya, Lady Sukaina, because she's saying, Father, where are you, Father? It's been weeks, I haven't seen you. She's crying day and night. And soon they will be giving this head to Lady Ruqayya. There she'll be asking, oh Father, when she takes the head, as if she's saying, Father, Man alladhi aytamani ala sighra sinni. Oh Father, who made me an orphan at such a young age? She'll be taking the head of Imam Hussein. 3-4-year-old daughter of Imam Hussein will be taking this head, and she'll be kissing it and hugging it until finally from her small body her soul will be departing, and it will be the last days of Lady Ruqayya, and it will be the effect and the sign of the oppression of Imam Hussein, inshallah. Ya Allah, we ask you for the madhlumiyat of Imam Hussein, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Lady Ruqayya. Answer everyone's du'as, inshallah. Ya Allah, remove hum and grief from everyone. Increase our rizq, both material and spiritual. Make us of those that is very rich on the Day of Judgment. How Imam Hussein says in Dua Arafa, Allahumma, that give me ghanaya waj'al ghanaya fi nafsi. Make my richness in my heart. Make us rich in our hearts and our faith, inshallah, ya Allah. All of those that are looking to get married, give them a good spouse, inshallah. Those that are looking for children, give them children. Give protection to the children of Gaza and Palestine, inshallah. Remove oppression from their lands. Make us of the lovers and followers of the Imam of the age. Make our days pass with remembrance of the Imam, and make us of his companions, and expedite his return with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
يا رحمة الله الواسع يا باب النجاة الأمة مظلوم مظلوم كربلاء كربلاء يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز فوزا عظيما. برادران عزیز، لطفاً آماده شوین برای عزاداری. دقایق را انشاءالله عزاداری میکنیم. امشب برای امام حسن مجتبی علیه السلام آقا شنیده هم جگرت شعله‌ور شده، بی کس شدی و ناله تو بی حسر شده. پیش حسین سرفه نکن، آکم بکش خون لبد بیشتر شده. یک چشم خواهرت به تو، یک چشم پیش تشت، تشت مقابلت پر خون جگر شده. غریب مظلوم با عبدالله الحسین صلوات. ای حسن جان، 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 ای حسن جان. بیقرار و بیشکیبم، بیقرار و بیشکیبم، شد اجل یار و طبیبم، شد اجل یار و طبیبم. من که حتی در میان خانه خود ام غریبم من که حتی در میان خانه خود ام غریبم ای حسن جان 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 من که با غم آشنایم من که با غم آشنایم من که خاموش از نوایم من که خاموش از نوایم از تو ممنونم ای زر از تو ممنونم ای زر کرده ای حاجت روایم کرده ای حاجت روایم ای حسن جان 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 آمده فصل خزانم آمده فصل خزانم کی نمیگی رد نشانم ای اجل کردی تو امشب راحت از زخم زبانم ای اجل کردی تو امشب راحت از زخم زبانم ای حسن جان ای حسن جان ای حسن ای حسن جان 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 سالها خون بدلم شد سالها خون بدلم شد عاقبت المشکلم شد عاقبت المشکلم شد این دل شب با که گویم همسر من قاتلم شد این دل شب با که گویم همسرم قاتلم شد ای حسن جان 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 صلوات محمدی
فنکویان شبیه بینگرچی ظلمی در جهان کردی
یا حسین
بگیتی ارچی ای ظالم دلت میخواستن کردی حسین را در زمین کربلا خواندی به مهمانی زرای دشمنی آوارش از خانمان کردی ای سری دور از بدن بین ما نظر بر مادرت من به قربان سرت ای سر دور از بدن بین ما نظر بر مادرت من به قربان سرت من فدای این سر پرخاک و پرخاکسترت من به قربان سرت نور چشمان ترم ای عزیز داورم بی کس و بی یاورم نور چشمان ترم ای عزیز داورم बेकसो बेयावरम नूर चश्माने तरम ay aziz dawaram बेकसो बेयावरम आमद आमद बार दीदारत बसदाओ पेखान अज गुलस्तान जनान आमद आमद बार दीदारत बसदाओ पेखान अज गुलस्तान जनान ay हुसैन जान कुल नजर बर मादर गम परवरत मन बकुर्बान सरत नूर चश्माने तरम ay अजीज दावरम बेकसो बेयावरम नूर चश्माने तरम ay अजीज दावरम बेकसो बेयावरम कसनदीद कुंज मुतबक आयत अल्लाह वलूर कसनदीद कुंज मुतबक आयत अल्लाह वलूर बर्रुए खाके तनूर इन सितम अज़ुल्म खूली बरास अनवरत मन बकुर्बान सरत नूर चश्माने तरम ay अजीज दावरम बेकसो बेयावरम नूर चश्माने तरम ay अजीज दावरम बेकसो बेयावरम अनसितम गुस्तर न गुप्ता इन अजीज दावरत अनसितम गुस्तर न गुप्ता इन अजीज दावरत राज़े पैगंबरत इंचिन बेहुरमती बिलमूत आखिर बासरत मन बकुर्बान सरत नूर चश्माने तरम ay अजीज दावरम बेकसो बेयावरम नूर चश्माने तरम ay अजीज दावरम बेकसो बेयावरम ay हुसैन जसूय तू बहान नाला नामदम ay हुसैन जसूय तू बहान नाला नामदम दीदगर नामदम आमदम बुसा जन्म बर खंजर खूनद तरत मन बकुर्बान सरत नूर चश्माने तरम ay अजीज दावरम बेकसो बेयावरम नूर चश्माने तरम ay अजीज दावरम बेकसो बेयावरम करबला रफ्तम बिदीदम पैकरत रा छाक छाक बेकपनुरियान बखाक करबला रफ्तम बिदीदम पैकरत रा छाक छाक बेकपनुरियान बखाक अस्तनद दीदम जुदा अंगुश्तम अंगुश्तरत मन बकुर्बान सरत नूर चश्माने तरम ay अजीज दावरम बेकसो बेयावरम नूर चश्माने तरम ay अजीज दावरम बेकसो बेयावरम सारबाने बेमुरवत अजबराए बंदजर सारबाने बेमुरवत अजबराए बंदजर अनलाइने बदसियर पेश चश्मानम जुदा बिनमूत दस्ते अतहरत मन बकुर्बान सरत नूर चश्माने तरम ay अजीज दावरम बेकसो बेयावरम नूर चश्माने तरम ay अजीज दावरम बेकसो बेयावरम बारगो पैगंबर के गली जान मनस हम बजान गलबो इसमें मोहम्मद
अस्सलामु अलैक या रसूल अल्लाह अस्सलामु अलैक या नबी अल्लाह अस्सलामु अलैक या अमीर अल-मोमिनीन अस्सलामु अलैक या फातिमत अज़-ज़हरा सय्यदतुन निसाइल आलमीन अस्सलामु अलैक या हसन इब्न अली अल-मुज्तबा अस्सलामु अलैक या अबा अब्दुल्लाह व अला अल-अरवाह अल्लती हल्लत बिफ़नाइक अलैक मिन्नी सलामुल्लाह अबदन मा बक़ीतु बक़िय अल-लैल वन-नार वला जाल वला आखिर अल-अहद मिन्नी लिज़ियारतिकुम अस्सलामु अला हुसैन व अला अली इब्न हुसैन व अला औलाद हुसैन व अला الحسين. السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين. السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي. السلام عليك يا جعفر بن محمد. السلام عليك يا موسى بن جعفر. السلام عليك يا علي بن موسى الرضا يا سلطان خراسان يا أبا الحسن. السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي. السلام عليك يا علي بن محمد. السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا صاحب العصر والزمان يا خليفة الرحمن يا إمام الإنس والجان جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانهر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. صدق الله العلي العظيم. الفاتحة مع الإخلاص وقبله مع الصلوات.